Hi friends. I just made a post. I actually just made two posts about going to see Marianne Williamson in London. And if you're interested in this topic, go read them, because I feel like a different transmission comes through writing. And I thought I'd also make a video. I feel it's a really interesting topic of what we do when the world looks like it's falling apart. And for some that means turning a blind eye to it. I also want to say that, like, silence, sometimes you get really angry with people that are silent or just, not wanting to talk about it. I've had times where I've been at a table and I want to talk about politics and people are like, can we not talk about this? I've had it many times. And the thing is, that means it's overwhelming for them. There's too much pain and they don't know how to digest it. And so many people, it's like, and we're being bombarded, images of war. There's also a feeling of like helplessness, like, well, what can I do? So I just really want to say that's a normal human response. And others are responding with like, oh my God, what do we do? Let's move off grid. Let's build a bunker and fill it with beans and weapons. And it's easy to criticize or laugh at those people. But that's their response, and it's kind of a good survival instinct when you think about it. We might be laughing on the other side of our face where if something happens, right? We're stuck between these 2 points of like total inertia and overreactivity. Marianne Williamson was talking about uniting our inner world, our inner process, and our outer action. And that's why I just flew in at 10 p.m. on Friday night, but I got up at 7 in the morning to go to London to sit with her, because I felt like this is great. This is a conversation that I want to be in, and to be with hundreds of people in this conversation, asking this question: how do we bring our inner work and our outer work together? Do we act? How do we act? How do we act in a place where we don't feel that anybody listens or it makes any difference? And of course there's always protesting or speaking up in Facebook, but then maybe you have your account taken down, or you go to a protest and somebody turns the military on you, and is it safe to protest? And there's just a lot of big questions right now. And then you can also look around you. Like, I'm sitting in my family home garden right now and look around, and it's all perfectly safe and normal. And if I walk down to the high street, everything's normal, supermarket's normal, everything looks normal. And so it can also be, feel like a very disconnected reality, right? And that's a real phenomenon that we go through, of like, we can turn on the TV or look online and see war, bombs, violence, pandemics, but then we look around and we're like, yeah, everything's normal here. And so it can leave us very frozen and wondering, like, how do we deal with all of this? Do we need to deal with it? I think these are really important questions to be asking. What would you regret more is a good question to ask. Not having some water and tins of beans in your basement, or being laughed at for doing that. These are important questions. And the thing is, there are so many threats. We're hearing about cyber attacks, and blackouts have been happening, and they're happening. It's not like it's a conspiracy theory. I think we've had 6 countries have blackouts now. Cuba, Spain, Portugal, and Andorra, Paraguay, and Bali had one too. So whole countries are losing their power. And, there's threats of power outages. There's threats of nuclear war, especially now that Israel and Iran have gone to war. And there's so many threats. There's a new pandemic coming. The vaccine, this, that, the other. There's a lot going on. Our food's all getting poisoned. I mean, oh my God, it's overwhelming. Better to just sit in the garden and smell the flowers. What Marianne Williamson was pointing out is, first thing we need to do is the inner work, but not to just sit there doing inner work all day long, but perhaps every morning when we wake up to do inner work, or any time that we're confronted with something that is painful. My favorite practice is Atisha's meditation, and any of you who've trained with me or studied with me, you know it very well. I teach it a lot. It's an alchemy of the heart where you breathe in pain, you breathe out compassion. Just breathe it in, breathe out compassion. It helps you to develop capacity to hold space for pain. That's one thing. Instead of numbing, it helps you to have that capacity, but it also alchemizes and transforms pain. I truly believe that all pain came here to be loved. And many of our world leaders do have unhealed trauma. They haven't done inner work. They haven't done inner work, and so they just are acting out their triggers and their unhealed trauma. You see them sometimes on TV and it's like, oh my God, are they kids like shouting at each other? No, they're traumatized men that never did the healing. And so that deserves our compassion, but it's also pretty dangerous when it's got its finger on the button, right? Ooh. I believe in the power of prayer. I really do. And I believe also in the power of alchemy, of like putting on the TV, watch one of these men ranting, press pause in his most, it's easy to catch them in a face, and then sit and breathe it in. Breathe in the energy that they're radiating in the world, the pain that's so desperately wanting to be loved. Breathe it in and breathe out compassion. Send them waves of compassion and blessings. We really need to do this inner work so that we can show up for it, so that we can hold space for it, so that we can alchemize our own fear into love and compassion too. Because if we're numb, we won't act. If we're fearful and we act out of fear, we tend to create more karma. Like we might just lock ourselves in a basement with a pile of tins and not come out for 20 years. Maybe we'll miss out on our life. We might overreact. If we're triggered and we let the triggers get the better of us, we're going to go on Facebook and attack everyone with another opinion. You're wrong, it's conspiracy theory, whatever. But what does that do? It's actually just another form of war. But if we alchemize, if we breathe it in, if we develop the capacity to open our heart for the immense amount of pain that's flying around in our atmosphere right now, we can transform fear into love, which is one of the big things we came here for. And then we can act. And then we can act in a way that will not be in karmic. It will be much more like to be dharmic action, right action. Marianne Williamson said this beautiful thing on Saturday. She said, you all have your own divine mission. It's already set for you. You have an assignment. Listen for it. You need to meditate. You need to alchemize. You need to drop into the deepest part of your heart and you will hear it. I realized when I heard her, like, oh my God, I've always been someone creating the new world. Since I was like 23 and landed in Thailand, I saw what was possible and I stayed 19 years on Koh Phangan. 19 years. Instead of coming home and getting a proper job and a mortgage and whatever I was told to do, I stayed there because I had the opportunity and the amazing gift of being in service for people's healing, of creating a healing center, retreats, workshops, creating spaces, physical spaces where people could come and heal and transform and become the best version of themselves. And I knew from really early on, like 25 years I've done that, I knew from really early on that it's time to birth a new world. I came so out of the old world. I grew up in a very posh England. I went to Oxford University. I was in the Oxford Union where all the British Prime Ministers used to hang out, either there or Cambridge. I've been in the old system. I've seen how disembodied the people are there, how it's ruled by the intellect. It's old patriarchal stuff. It's old money. It's connections. It's just another system. And I left that system to live on a beach in a jungle without electricity because I saw a better system. And it was so small back in 2002 when I got there. It was a tiny system. It was a little tiny world with a few people doing meditations. But I could sense that we're building a better world than the one that we came from. I don't believe we need to totally destroy the old world because it's kind of chaotic to do that. But I believe we do need to build resilience, sovereignty, and new communities. Community is one of the most powerful forces we have. And one of the most, I've always felt it with my women's work, that one of the ways we've been disempowered is by bitching about each other and judging each other. It's disempowering. The moment we support each other as sisters, we double our strength, quadruple it. Infinite strength, infinite power. Power comes in collaboration and community. So as you probably know, if you're a friend of mine, and I try and keep Facebook friends, you probably know that I spend so much of my time running communities, and I do it all non-profit. Like, making communities is my service work to the world, because I believe in the power of it. I believe that living together in communities is gonna build us resilience that we need as the old system becomes shaky. There are practical things we need. I have looked a lot at communities from Costa Rica to Portugal to Bali with the question, because people trust me and come to my communities, I really want to choose well. Because people trust me, I want to be worthy of their trust, I want to earn it. And so I'm looking really carefully, like, where are the best places? What are the risks in each place? And also, what is the universe guiding me to do? I'm getting a lot of universal signs right now to go to Portugal, so I'm flying in a couple of days. An incredible number of people are gathering with me and around me, knowing that there's a calling happening. So I'm super excited about that, and we're meeting for a festival for summer solstice, and then we're sitting together and we're brainstorming, heartstorming. So I believe all of us there's action for us all to do, and I believe that listening to our hearts will guide us through it. We've got to unfreeze the numbness of, like, oh, there's just so much going on and it's far away and it's nothing to do with me, or I'm overwhelmed. We've got to get through that. And we've also not got to act from fear and triggers. We've got to, like, do some alchemy work and reach the place where our hearts are going to guide us, I believe. And I also believe our hearts will all guide us slightly differently. But I'm amazed the number of people who are feeling the same calling as me and just showing up. So thank you for those people. And maybe you're watching this and you're one of them. You're going to show up too. So you're very welcome if you feel the call. And I know other people are holding down spaces in Costa Rica and Bali and other places I don't even know of. There are so many people stepping up and creating community, bringing families together, whatever it is. Whatever it is, some people are guiding meditation, some people are offering amazing astrology, some people are, everybody's doing their piece. But do your piece. That's what I want to say, and that's what Marianne Williamson said. She's like, just do it. Do the forgiveness, do the prayer, do the inner alchemy, and then do the action. I got a bit freaked out in Mexico about... Thank you, Nicholas. I feel emotion in my heart. When I was in Mexico a month ago, I had a freak out, which is quite rare for me. I'm pretty grounded and solid. But there were blackouts happening, and I suddenly felt like when the blackouts happened, we couldn't cook, we had no gas, no water, no running water. And I suddenly felt so fragile, and I thought, I don't want to belong in a system that I can't trust. I don't want to be abused by a system that doesn't care about me. I don't want to fight it either. I'm not interested in fighting it. It's doing its thing. But I do want to create resilience. And I want to create a space where other people that I love can be there too. And so I am. And I know in my community spaces, it's like I frame them as like co-working. It's so much more than co-working, and if you've come on them, you know. It's about building safety for our hearts. It's about processing the darkness in our world. It's about keeping our hearts open. And it's about coming together to build something new. If you're feeling powerless and stuck and frozen, I understand completely. I've had a lot of those moments. I continue to have them. But I really want to encourage you to ask the universe to use you. Seriously, it's one of the best prayers you can ever do. Maybe the only prayer, if you only do one prayer, pray for the universe to show you how you can be of service to the divine plan, and ask for signs. I've done this for years, and I really ask for signs. I often ask for 3 just to be sure. And then synchronicity happens, and you have to listen. God speaks in the language of synchronicity. So then watch who's coming to you, what the synchronicities are, people you meet, and you're just connecting. Because there is a divine plan. And we don't want to be frozen in fear, ignoring the divine plan. We want to all show up for it. And I know you, my friends, the people who are in my world, we've all been doing this inner work for so long. So we're really ready now, if we're not already. So pray for being shown what your divine plan is. Get together with other people who aren't afraid to talk about this. I see lots of you showing up and watching and comments. Maybe you remember that earth planes, like the one we're on Rig Lake now, are proving grounds for emergent entities before they hatch out of their physical bodies into the greater universe. Exactly. Get together with other people who are willing to talk about this and pray about it and alchemize it and tune into it, and just make a prayer circle in your living room, a meditation circle, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. And first we've got to process the shadow. We've got to talk about our deepest fears and let ourselves, like I am, move some emotion through our hearts. Do that first. Don't skip the shadow. We can never do that. So share and let everyone feel safe enough to share their fears, to share their deepest fears, because we're all too cool and laughing at the one that's stockpiling and don't be cool, be real. Make it safe. Get together, share fears, hold hands, make prayers, alchemize, forgive those that appear to be causing a lot of pain, send them blessings, then sit in silence and meditate and ask for divine guidance. Have a notepad and write it down, and then have another sharing circle and everyone share what they're seeing and feeling. That's it. That's how we start a revolution. We don't need to revolt against the system. We just need to build a new one. And we already have been for decades. And right now is not a time to stop doing that. So yes, let's do it. I'm thinking to maybe create a space somewhere online that people can do a Teachers meditation together, so that we can also connect online. But I'm a huge believer in in-person community, because we also need to cuddle and hold and cry in each other's arms and sing together and do all of that stuff. Yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for holding space for me. And thank you for being part of the change.